Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the largest crypto channel on all the interwebs. My name is TJ, and I'll be your host for today's episode of Around the Blockchain. Every day at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we come to you live with top crypto experts and analysis from around the space to teach you about crypto assets and how to make money with them. If you like money in crypto, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got a really good show lined up for you today with a lot of really good guests and some great topics. We're going to be getting into the SEC lawsuit developments and kind of a countersuit coming from the SEC against Ripple for lobbying efforts. We're going to also jump into Ethereum flipping Bitcoin. We've got all kinds of bullish news coming from Goldman Sachs and all sorts of other sources that say they think Ethereum could pass Bitcoin within the next 12 months, as well as more money printers going burr, trillions of dollars on the horizon. Is this going to be good for Bitcoin? What do we expect in the near horizon? So let's jump right into it. We've got a new guest joining us here today. No, that's not BitBoy. He's just crouching in BitBoy's office. We got Deezy in the top right corner. We got CryptoSavy coming in. He's got some really good analysis and charts to show you guys. He's not an evil villain, but he might twist his stash like one. CryptoStache in the house. And as always, the one you know, the one you love, Ben Armstrong, bringing down the house. Gonna back clean up for us. Lots of good information to share. And he's got his milkshake. So gotta love it. He's drinking the ripples.
Chick-fil-A.
So, let's jump right in today. As always, we've got score boxes in the bottom right-hand corner for anybody who, as they're talking, make sure if you like what you're hearing, you push +1 in the chat so I know to give them a point. You'll hear the sound. You'll see their point go up. Whoever has the most points at the end of the episode will have 30 seconds to leave a parting thought. So let's jump right in. Market watch. We've seen a lot. We've got futures expiring today. We've got some more downward action. It's going to be an interesting weekend. We got a holiday on Monday here in the U.S. So we'll start with you, CryptoSavy. I know we were chatting just a little bit beforehand about the prices in the markets. What is it you're seeing right now, and what is it you had on the charts that you wanted to share with us? We'll hop right in with you.
I will share the screen now. Can you see my screen?
We absolutely can.
All right, so this is that Wyckoff distribution, and I guess right now what we're looking for is trying to figure out if we're in accumulation, which seems to be popular, or redistribution. And we'll pull this up. Redistribution would look like this over here, with another continuation to the downside, and accumulation would be more like this. And I seen BitBoy had one drawn out. I'm not sure where he got it, but that it seemed like it was playing out. I think it was in the 3 hour.
Yes, we were looking at that this morning.
That's correct.
The one thing that's got me thinking that we are in a more of an redistribution is, I don't know if you guys have watched my Elliott wave count here, this being wave 1, 2, and this was also drawn out back in March. Or no, I'm sorry, April. March I had the Wyckoff drawn in, but our target, that target I have not moved. It hit almost perfectly. Wave 4, wave 2 is up here. Wave 2 is usually, if wave 2 is a simple correction, which this is, ABC, then wave 4 is usually complex, like a triangle, or some kind of bull flag or bear flag pattern or whatnot. I do believe we have at least one more move to the downside here. This being wave 4, wave 5 down to maybe the mid-20s, somewhere in that range.
Oh, wow.
And I know a lot of people are talking about a dead cat bounce, and I think that this will be 5 waves down for wave A. Then we'll have 3 waves up for B and another 5. I know it sounds crazy, but I do think it is possible that we could see below 10 grand. I know I'm going to get hate for this, but I really do, and I have a few other things to looking at it that way. But this is my chart from this morning, and this is what I believe to be the wave 4 pattern, being a triangle, and it does seem to be playing out. I drew this the other day, but this is what I'm expecting here, and then these are my targets, just simple measured move target, depending on when and where we break this bottom trend line. If we break to the top side, that will totally throw it all off. If we pass the 41.7 before continuing down, that's where wave 1 was. That would invalidate this whole count and then, start from scratch. But But as of right now, this is what I'm seeing.
So let me ask you this: the key level you're looking for us to get above, it sounds like, is 42. What's the key support that if it breaks through, that you think it's going to continue downward, or as far as you've seen, are we already on the way down?
I think we're already on the way down, but I will. If you look at the triangle here, it's right around 33.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that all depends on where we hit. But if we break this bottom of this triangle again, we may even come back up for a retest. But I think we're going down to the mid 20s somewhere.
So like 20.
That's my
25?
thoughts.
Now, what kind of time frame are you looking at that on? Like getting to 24 or 25 by
well,
when?
If this plays out, like you see the triangle here, Elliott wave theory would be A, B, C, D, and then E. And it's hard to say, but I would see us getting down here probably tomorrow or Sunday, and then we might get one more push up. But again, this is all invalidated too if we cross this trend line up here. And right now it's right around 39.6, somewhere in there, if it was to go straight up. But this is what I'm watching right now. But I do believe a break of this bottom trend line, we may not even get E. We'll see how it plays out. But I believe we're headed down.
Interesting.
That's where I'm at.
We were looking at some of this stuff this morning, and Ben, I want to actually hear from you on this because we were talking about over the weekend. We've got the futures expiring. What time is it expiring? Eastern, 4:30, right? Is that correct?
I think it's 4:30 Central Time. Central Time. So 5:30.
5:30 our time. Yeah. So it looks like they're about to expire. That's what I thought. In just a few minutes. The price right now, from what I'm looking at, is about 34.
Dumping right now.
Yeah, it's dumping right now.
Down below. Yeah.
So we were looking at a potential dip over the weekend. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What is it based on CryptoSavy's analysis? Do you think we could go as low as 25, or what's your expectation for the next 3-4 days?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't think we're going to 24 or 25 in the next few days. But I think that 24 is a number that makes sense if you're just looking at, like, I think that's where the last CME gap is. I think there's one at 19 as well, but there's a CME gap there, which means that, there's always that magnet pulling it down. And the way that works is it's kind of like people think it would never go down that far, but then when it gets a little bit closer to it, then they're like, hey, it won't be that much harder for us just to push it down a little bit further. But I just, like, you guys know how I feel about charts. Like, I like charts. The technicals win out a good bit of the time, but the fundamentals and stuff going on off the charts and the history of Bitcoin doesn't really, we should not be going down to 10,000. I mean, if we go down below 10,000, I mean, we are 100% bear market right now, which would be different than anything we've ever seen before during this time. So I got to think that we're going to have something that's going to occur. Whether it's, I mean, look, guys, let's go back to the beginning of February, basically when the Wyckoff distribution thing started. Guys, nobody knew what in the world was going to push the price up. We didn't have the Coinbase IPO come until April, and then all of a sudden, overnight, night after the Super Bowl, to the next day, Tesla buys Bitcoin and it pumps 20% in a day, or whatever it was, 25% a day. It basically went from, I believe, 34, 33, all the way up to I think it tested 50. I think it got rejected at like 50 or 47 or somewhere like that. So for me, I think there's got to be something that's going to push the price up. I mean, I don't think we're in a bear market right now. So, I mean, and even if, look, here's the thing. To go below 10, that would mean that Bitcoin would, I'd have to actually, like, look at the numbers on that right now. But if we were to go from the all-time high all the way down to $10,000, like, that would be a correction of let's see what that would be, all the way to below $10,000. I mean, that's an 85% correction, which look, at the peak of the bear market, that could be the case. If we are in a bear market right now, on average, it lasts a year. So maybe by next year, but I mean, we certainly ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Stash, what's your take on the markets right now? Do you think the future's expiring today and the holiday weekend, you think we're going to see some fireworks this weekend?
Fireworks for sure. The thing is, man, there's a lot to, Bitcoin and the psychological element to it, right? So, 30,000, I think, is a very big psychological number to people. And there's already really some decent support at that level. Yep. So I think breaking 30K would definitely be not a good sign. And yeah, we would probably be looking around like the mid 20s, probably 23, 24 as the next kind of, logical one. But really 20K, I would say is also that other, psychological level, because that was our previous all-time high that had stood for, quite some time. And, we try to break it, and then finally it does go past that. And that's, essentially when Bitcoin really started to take off, is once it broke that all-time high. So I think that there is a lot of potential for this weekend to see more downward action. I really do. And classically, we do see this when there's a long holiday weekend like this. People are sitting around. They got extra time on their hands. They can actually go look at the markets. I think you have a lot of we call weekend warriors, right? Yeah, they're out there trading, and they're trying to scoop up some profits. And so you have these people out there doing this during during the weekdays, who are more like the professional traders, we'll say, or people who have a little bit more time to do that. But these weekends like this, holiday weekends, classically give people a little bit more time, to get into the markets, to play around. And I do think that we're like you said, we're dumping right now. Looking at it what we're about 35. So I could see it going back down to where we've kind of hit this support recently, which is around 33K. I don't know that we're going to see it go down to that 30K level even over this weekend. I just don't see it. There is enough bullish still news out there for Bitcoin that I think that this is a correction that was going to happen. Now maybe it's a little bit deeper than some people want it to be. But there's no way in hell that we're going to get past 20K. It's not going to happen. It's simply not going to happen.
Yeah, I like what you said there about the psychological supports, and I can attest just from my own personal experience of people I know. Almost every person that I know that I've been pitching crypto for years got in right before 28, 29, like right there before 30K. They saw it past 20, went up to 28, 29, and that's when a lot of people were buying right at the beginning of this year. I think it was around 29, like December 30th or January 2nd or 3rd, like right at the turn of the year, where a lot of people got involved. So real quick, for the audience, I want to hear real quick, are you guys buying or selling this weekend? So if you're buying, put buying in the chat. And if you're selling, put selling in the chat. And just wanted to say we have about 10,500 people watching right now.
Whoa. You can't just give them two options, man. Option number 3, stash your crypto.
Stash.
Come on.
Yeah, hodl. Just hodling. If you're just hodling, you can put that in there too. Buying, selling, hodling, put that in the chat.
That's a stash option.
But yeah, we also, like I said, we have about 10,500 or 11,000 people watching, only 1,100 likes. So if you guys could get those likes up, we really appreciate it. It helps get this out. And we're trying to get some exposure for these new guys and their great content. So as always, the links are in the description below. If you like what you hear from these guys, show them that BitSquad love. Go give them a like and a subscribe. But before we move on to the next topic, I know he's been itching to get on the mic. We got Deezy in the house, the new guy here at the office. All right, hit us with it. Are you that weekend warrior? Are you buying or are you selling this weekend?
I am a weekend warrior, and I think Stash brought up a couple good points. One, it being a holiday weekend, it's going to be a little bit scarier. It's going to be a little bit more volatile. So with the futures ending, I'm predicting, I'm going to go out, I'm going to give a prediction. I think Saturday might be green. But then I think Sundays, it's a day for Bloody Marys, if you're catching my drift here. So I would say beware. It's Monday. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's going to be very volatile. Make sure you have those stop losses, very short. If you are doing leverage, make sure you do very, very low leverage trades. And, if you want to check out the ByBit referral link, that's always a good option too. But
yeah, where do they go for that?
Just to piggyback off what TJ said, yeah, please sub to these new people. We got CryptoStache, we got CryptoSavy. They're great. Check out their channel, hit the like button. Hit the like buttons on their videos. Go down 5 videos. Hit the like button again. And but back to the weekend, yeah, it's going to be scary. But we'll see what happens. If it pops hard at 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central, I'm going to take that as a pretty bullish signal. If it continues to fall, it's going to be scary. Beware, buyers beware. That's my message.
I guess we'll have to check.
Yeah, I gotta say, man. I was gonna say, like, if you're leveraged over a time like this, over this weekend, I feel for you. I feel for you, man. It's not a good time in this market to be in a leveraged position, in my opinion. But hey, if you guys are out there doing it, I salute you this Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, we got a lot of good warriors out there. So speaking of leverage and interesting plays and things that have been maybe questionable in the past, we're going to talk a little bit about SEC and XRP, some of my favorite subjects. So we saw recently SEC is claiming that Ripple and Ripple Labs have been paid with lobbying efforts to change public perception around XRP as a token versus a security. And they're saying by them paying and doing this, that invalidates their claim of not really understanding this. I think they were calling it Ripple's fair notice defense is what they were claiming the SEC didn't give them. But the SEC now is countering with, well, if you guys didn't have this knowledge that you could potentially be in trouble, why were you paying all this money to lobby people to keep you out of trouble? It seems counterintuitive. So how do you think this is going to develop moving forward? Do you think the SEC is dead in the water, or do you think they're going to pull this from the grave? Ben, I know we were talking about one of the attorneys leaving just yesterday, but do you think this still gives the SEC a shot, or do you think it's just more smoke and mirrors?
The SEC a shot?
SEC shot. SEC shot.
Oh, I thought it was like seashells by the seashore.
Down by the seashore?
Yeah.
The SEC sells
right.
seashells down by the seashore?
That's right. Well, you know what's so funny to me? I mean, I just laugh so hard at this. That, like, our entire political system is based on lobbying. The entire thing. Like, every law that is made is from lobbyists. That's where it all comes from.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's crazy, but like, oh, you're lobbying public perception.
But
it's
they're
like,
not upset.
Traps.
They're not questioning the lobbying. They're questioning the timeline. They're saying, why were you paying this thing when you're saying you didn't have any knowledge of this?
Yeah, well, I think this just reeks of desperation from the SEC.
Okay.
I mean, they're trying the public perception is so strong right now on who's going to win this that the SEC is trying to cast doubt upon that public perception, and it just reeks of desperation. You fire the guy, then you release this, and it's like, guys, the writing is on the wall at this point. But, you know, like I said in the beginning, before I ever said anything positive about XRP, in this case, you know, the government's going to do everything they can. So they're pulling out everything. But at the end of the day, they can't change the judge. And the judge is clearly on Ripple's side. So unless she gets, I don't know, the Scalia treatment or something, you know, then I think that, you know, Ripple's in for a bad case, or that they're in for a bad way against Ripple is what I mean. I think Ripple's going to win this for sure.
You do. Okay. Deezy, what's your take on SEC versus Ripple?
I think the SEC is basically a sweaty salesman knocking on their last door. They're getting desperate. You know, the beads are perspiring on their face. It's dripping at this point. It's all over their suit. They got sweaty pits. I think it's like Ben said. The judge is on. You know, it appears that they're going to be on Ripple's side. The Ripple army, they would not stop bringing up Ripple for years and years and years. And almost the worst part is they might have been right this whole time. That's actually that's my take on it. But it seems like they're getting mad at Ripple for bringing up this, you know, trying to influence public opinion. But what is the SEC doing right now? They're doing the exact same thing that they're coming after Ripple for. It kind of reminds me of how certain people in the government, you know, they can trade on inside information, but the average Joe can't. I'm seeing the same thing play out right here.
Yeah. Good take. And now, CryptoSavy, do you think, regardless of what happens, whether the SEC wins or Ripple wins, do you think there's any chance that U.S. banks use XRP or Ripple Labs to settle transactions?
You know, I've had this conversation with a lot of people, and I don't. You know, I think the Ripple tech is really good, but I don't see why they would have to use Ripple. That's my opinion. That's always been my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel. I don't know, you know, if you guys are XRP fans or not. I personally
that's a complicated question.
It is.
Yeah. I'm personally not
for
an
me.
XRP fan.
Not for me.
No, I'm not an XRP fan. Ben is. I don't know. Are you? I think you're an honorary member of XRP Army, aren't you?
They made me one this week, I think. But
Oh,
I mean,
man.
come on, CryptoSavy, you had to hit them where it hurts. Utility.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's stay away from the utility and let's just talk about price for XRP, and then I think we'll all be on the same page.
Yeah.
No, I think Savy's bringing up a good point, like how Bitcoin's technology, as we're seeing that it's becoming too old with the Lightning Network. So these new coins coming out, they have superior tech to these older coins. So, I mean, Savvy brings up a good point. Why Ripple? Why do we need Ripple?
Yeah.
Like, isn't there a million better options? You know, probably dozens of coins could serve in a better, be more energy efficient, be quicker. It's old technology. So I'm with Savvy on this one.
Yeah.
Well, they have big infrastructure though. Like they've already built the infrastructure to do it. And look, I'm not saying I think banks are going to use Ripple or XRP because I don't think they're going to. But I also believe that XRP is going to be one of the biggest.
Oh, you muted your mic again. But I would agree with you on what you were saying about infrastructure, and I think a lot of the counter argument that a lot of people have is there's nobody that has more infrastructure for bank cross-border payments than JP Morgan, who has their own internal coin and probably a lot of incentive to push that. But Stash, you said that answer to that question was easy for you. So what's your take on all this?
XRP has absolutely no use case. Ripple as a company has built a network that does work. It doesn't require to use XRP. That is a horrible oversight. They probably didn't. They were looking too far in the future on this one. Like, come on, guys, give your actual coin utility. Now, because they've been around for a long time, and this idea of like cross-border payments, oh my gosh, they garnered a lot of people who really believed in this, and I feel like a lot of people have been duped by XRP, man. It's just one of those things where, like, no, I don't support it. And I don't support it for two reasons. First, no damn utility. You can't really do jack shit with it. Second, I don't support more central banking. I don't support being able to do things with centralized banking entities. I don't want that system. We're creating a brand new system. We're shifting the paradigm away from this old, antiquated banking system that we have been on for decades, I mean, hundreds of years even. And, XRP and Ripple, they just want to continue that. They just want to keep going about the same old with a small, tiny, slight upgrade that gives them a little bit more power. So I'm not a fan of XRP at all for those two reasons. And to be perfectly honest, this whole SEC lawsuit, I think it makes sense. And when they came out with this, Ripple was like, hey, we're going to go toe to toe with these guys. Mm-hmm. And, I gave them some points for that. I was like, you guys got some big balls for that. And I gave them some points for that one. Yeah. But when it comes down to it, even though, the sentiment and maybe the judge is kind of a little bit more on Ripple's side, I do think the SEC is going to come back with a judgment on this. I think that they're going to end up with the fine for Ripple, and I think that that things are going to go right back to business. I honestly think they're going to end up settling on something like this, and there's not going to be any real clear anything that comes out of this horrible situation, because that's what we really want. We want some sort of guidance. Give us something. Give us some sort of guidance on how we should be doing things. Don't just leave it super gray and then come out of nowhere and be like, hey, sucker, you now owe us all this money. We're gonna fine you because you did these things. Well, we know we didn't tell you couldn't do those things, and it doesn't really match any of the rules we already had, but we're still going to come after you anyways. And so, on the SEC side, they definitely could have done this, more clear. They could have done this a long time ago. They could have been more transparent about things. But I do think that they are going to end up not necessarily winning, but I think it's going to actually be more of a settled case. I don't think that this is going to be any clear definition of like, here is what's going to happen. And now we know, and here now the precedent is now being set. And now this is how we will deal with projects going forward.
So but don't you think though, Stash, if it does get settled, it's going to end up being a huge fine, and Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson could potentially face some direct consequences. But just the fact that it would be over, like regardless of how you feel about central banking and how you feel about yada yada yada, which I agree with all that. At the end of the day, though, like, do you believe that people that invest in XRP by the end of this bull run, assuming we go back up, will make a lot of money once this thing's over?
Oh, so when it comes to price action and, token prices, that has absolutely nothing to do with a lot of this sometimes. There are people out there that doesn't matter what the hell happens to a coin, they're still buying it. Who the hell is buying Ethereum Classic, guys? That network has been hacked multiple times. 51% attacked so many damn times. People are still buying Ethereum Classic. You guys are idiots. If you're buying Ethereum Classic, and this happens over and over and over again. Yeah. Dude, BitConnect is still out there as a token, and people are still buying it. Yeah. What the is going on here?
I'm actually really glad you brought that up, because I was about to say, speaking of questionable decisions and BitConnect, we actually just right before we went live here, the SEC broke a story that they're going to be going after some of the biggest promoters of BitConnect. I know Trayvon James, Craig Grant, and a couple other ones. So, Ben, I want to hear, this is kind of, I believe this is one of the first times we've seen the SEC going directly after content creators, YouTubers specifically, and individuals. What is your thought on that? Do you think this is going to be something we see more in the future, or do you think this is just to settle the old stuff with BitConnect?
Yeah, so what we have seen in the past is we've seen the SEC going after celebrities that promoted without disclosing. What this is with BitConnect and these guys that were all involved in it, number one, these were all the biggest BitConnect content creators. So there are several other content creators that did talk about BitConnect that are not included in this. It's only the largest ones. And why were these 4 guys the largest ones? Well, it was because they were interconnected actually with the inside of BitConnect. I do think that this is going to play a really big role in this. There's a 5th guy that was charged, which was a guy that connected the promoters to BitConnect, which was out of India and was a Ponzi scheme. We all know that. The thing is that it was very obvious to all of us who were in crypto at that time, that were reading crypto content every day, well before this thing popped, that it was a clear Ponzi scheme, and many people were warned to get out of it. But these guys kept promoting it even after that was very obvious. And I think that is really the important thing to look at here, is their intent. Their intent was to lead people down the wrong path. And I think that's very, very important in this case. Because if we go back and we look at a lot of the SEC lawsuits, not just with celebrities or endorsements or anything like that, but a lot of time it has been intent that they've actually looked at when it comes to these other projects. Like Telegram, with their token, like, what were they trying to do? You know, their intent was to capitalize on the ICO market, not necessarily to make a utility for Telegram. Same thing with Kick and Ken. They had the same argument. Paragon, the intent was to scam people. So I think that plays a role in it, but I think this further hammers home the point. This is actually something that I talked to the people in Texas, and I know people don't like regulation, but we need regulation in this market from the content creation side, because there's no clarity on what we're allowed to say, what we're not allowed to say, what we're supposed to talk about. In the stock world, they have all that. And so, look, I'm all for decentralization, but we also got to be realistic. It makes my job a lot harder not having guidelines. And these guys back then didn't have any guidelines either. But the difference is I think they obviously had malicious intent.
Awesome. Yeah, before we move on to the next subject, real quick, just wanted to let you know, Ben, the chat is telling you to smile. Look happy.
I know, guys. I think
it's Friday, suckers. Get your smile
come on.
I'm just very intense when I'm listening to the show. I gotta make it smile. This is better, guys. Yeah. Is this better for you?
You're just so engaged in soaking all this stuff up. Yeah.
But I'm happy because I got a sunset behind me now.
That's
so,
right.
So I'm good.
Stash is at the beach.
Weekend time.
Yeah. Nice. But all right, let's talk a little bit about Ethereum. We've heard a lot of really bullish stories about Ethereum lately. Goldman Sachs talking about Ethereum passing Bitcoin. We've actually seen Ethereum's volume potentially like over $6 billion greater than Bitcoin's 24-hour volume, which hasn't happened in a while. So even as fees continue to climb, we still see the volume climbing for Ethereum as well. And we also know there's a lot of second-layer solutions being worked on to solve these gas fees. So I want to hear from you, CryptoSavy. Do you think Ethereum could pass Bitcoin within this cycle? Which I guess if Bitcoin's going to $10,000, might get easier by the minute. But I don't know. What does that do to Ethereum? So let me hear your take on that.
If things play out like I just showed, the Ethereum chart right now, I'm looking at the chart, and people were pointing out bullish divergence, but there's a larger hidden bearish divergence on this downtrend, suggesting down lower. And I don't think it will overtake Bitcoin. I really don't. I just don't see it. I think if Bitcoin has a big dump, Ethereum's going to feel it too, harder. But right now I have a target in the midterm around 1,100 to 1,200 for Ethereum.
Okay. So, Deezy, do you think Ethereum will pass Bitcoin, and if so, on what date?
Ooh, you put me down on a date. One, I think it's very possible. I'm almost leaning likely just by the way the markets have played out in the last few months. The network effect, it's hard to quantify that. There's a reason there wasn't space for MySpace and Facebook at the same time. There's a reason why YouTube is the only video service, that's really being used for, recorded content. So I mean, I think Ethereum just has such a strong first mover advantage. It is going to be very, very possible. You know, they say it's an old saying, but you know, Bitcoin is digital gold, Ethereum's digital oil. I mean, I'm pretty sure, you know, the oil, it's a pretty big industry. You know what I mean? You see it a lot of places. So as far as a date, let's say it's 2021. Let's go ahead and say March 26, 2024. You heard it here first.
Oh, 2024, way out there. Okay, well, I'll kick it over to you, Stash. Do you see Ethereum passing Bitcoin, yes or no?
Hell no. It's
Okay.
never going to happen. You know, the fact of the matter is that, you know, these assets are still very correlated. You look at the charts, the charts look the same, the patterns, you know, until that changes, I don't think we'll ever see that. And to be perfectly honest, you know, unless there are some pretty major changes to the Ethereum network, I don't see it ever happening. You know, a coin with an unlimited maximum supply that just keeps being inflated and inflated over time, and that, you know, has struggled to scale. You know, we know they say it's coming, guys. It's good. It's coming. We promise. And they've said this for years. I want to come. Trust me. I have a lot of investment in Ethereum. I started creating NFTs in Ethereum. I was one of the first people, you know, creators doing it. I like Ethereum. I just hate the fact that, you know, that it can't scale, and they haven't been able to find that solution. And so, you know, I do think that it's going to be a dominant smart contracts platform, but there is no way in hell that is ever going to pass Bitcoin. People, you know, when you talk about that first mover advantage, you know, that's great that Ethereum has smart contracts, but most people don't give a jack shit about that. They know Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the one that has the name. It's the brand name. That is crypto to most people. Most people don't even know Ethereum. So there's no way that Bitcoin is ever really going to you know, be overtaken by Ethereum. It's just not going to happen, guys.
Okay, well, let me throw it to Mr. Armstrong. Will Bitcoin pass Ethereum in your opinion? Yes or no? Or
Yes.
Ethereum pass Bitcoin?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes
By
to
what
both.
date?
Yes to both.
Interesting.
Well, half of it's already happened, so the other half I'm waiting to happen. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me. I just need to look one thing up here. Let's see what date this is. I'm going to say it will happen Thursday, November 25th, 2021.
There you go.
Ooh.
Listen.
Okay, if that happens, wait, hold, we gotta put some laws, because I know you guys love doing dates and disguises
we
and
do.
costumes. So maybe there's something fun here that we can do, because there's no way that is ever going to happen, dude. No way. It's
don't
not
believe
going to happen.
everybody-
You can throw dates all you want.
Listen.
Well,
I had an
what-
epiphany. Everyone is looking at this wrong. Everyone who is looking at this has been looking at this totally wrong. I had the epiphany. I've had the epiphany this week. I would have told you last week it wouldn't have happened. But suddenly I've seen everything very clearly, okay? Think about this.
Did someone lobby you, Ben? Have you been lobbied?
Yes. Brad,
It's the gas
Brad,
fees.
Where's
Told him
Brad?
that he's stuck.
Brad G is in the house. Listen, here's the thing. Okay, what happened in 2017? We had Bitcoin peak, have gigantic correction, and then we had Ethereum go to parabolic highs just like every other altcoin, okay? Right now, Ethereum is only about, the whole market cap is only about half of Bitcoin's market cap. Not exactly, it's probably like 42, 45%. Let's just, for fair game, call it half, okay? When Bitcoin runs up to the top, Ethereum's going to be moving too. Everything's going to be moving with it. And then Bitcoin's going to get the giant correction at the end of the bull market, which I do still believe we are in a bull market. And then Ethereum is going to pop up. And I think there's a good chance that for a day or a candle or a minute, that Ethereum is going to get up there and just barely pass Bitcoin, because they're not going to be at the heights at the same time. Bitcoin's going to be on a 50% correction when Ethereum is making its biggest move. So unless Ethereum falls way behind Bitcoin over the next, 4 to 5 months, I think there's a good chance that it does peak above it during this cycle. Now, it might not. It could also get very, very, very close, and there's a giant selling pressure that pushes it down. But this is going to be a battle before the end of this bull run.
Yeah, I agree. And what you're referring to is traditionally we see alts get their blow off top just a little bit. That extends a little bit beyond Bitcoin's tops. Like you're saying, Bitcoin's on its way down while Ethereum's still getting its most parabolic movement. So that could be, I think that's a good analysis. That could be a very temporary point where Ethereum gets ahead of Bitcoin. So.
And that's I like that analysis too. I can definitely understand that. I think that this is a different bull run than we saw in 2017, and here is why. Because in 2017, what really was driving a lot of this alt market was the fact that Ethereum, well, it wasn't like very new, but what was new in 2017 is the ERC20 standard, and that allowed thousands and thousands of projects to come into the space. Well, that standard's been established now, and a lot of other projects have come into the space. We have a lot of other major contract platforms out there as well. And so I don't see that blow off, whereas that is a very classic thing where we see this altcoin blow off coming a little bit after Bitcoin starts to hit that bear market cycle. I don't think we're going to see as an aggressive as a long of a period between those two events. I think it's going to be much shorter. I think we're going to see it, but I think it's going to be a lot shorter because I think in that 2017 market, I think the fact that we had all these ERC20 tokens and projects coming out, I think that's what really drove it to be a much longer period for that. So I like that theory, but I just don't see it happening anytime soon.
Good point. And just
with
to clarify,
the current highs.
I just want real quick. I'll throw it to you. Just to clarify, there's some questions in the chat asking if we're talking about market cap or token price. We're specifically talking about market cap. So
market cap,
not the price of the individual token.
No, the price would never get it. Yeah, we're talking market cap.
But hop in there, Savvy. What'd you have?
I wouldn't say never.
I was just gonna say, again, I'm not saying the top is in, but if it was, Bitcoin's top was last month, actually, Bitcoin's top would have been in April, and Ethereum was a month later. I just wanted to put that out.
I know.
There.
Scary stuff. I know. We're seeing all the same things, feeling all the same feelings, but I just don't think it's the time right now. But
real quick, another topic on Ethereum that we hear a lot of discussion about as a negative against Ethereum are these gas fees, and we've got all these second layer solutions and upgrades and all these different things coming. But so far, the gas fees have still been very high, but that hasn't slowed Ethereum's progress down at all. Like, it just keeps churning. The volume keeps going up and up and up. So is there a point where the gas fees become too high, or has it established its use case to where the people that want it, and what it's being used for, it doesn't matter that the gas fees are going up and they're willing to wait for it to get solved eventually? So I'll stay with you, Savvy. How much do the gas fees really matter in your opinion?
Maybe that's why everybody's staying in it. I mean, the gas fees are so high.
You can't get out of it.
Yeah, you just get stuck. But I actually, I was totally against alts, and fundamentally I was against alts. But now I've just started dabbling in them. I'm going to start having more alt stuff on my channel now. So I'm kind of new to it. I'd never wanted to touch it before, but there is a lot of money to be made in them anyways. But the gas fees are ridiculous. I mean, and like you said, we keep getting promised there's going to be change, and they're bringing all this stuff, but nothing's happening. And they seem to be getting worse and worse instead of anything getting better.
Yeah.
So,
is there a gas fee that's too high for you, Deezy, where you just say, you know what, I'm done with Ethereum?
You know what? It's almost like the frog in the boiling water. It keeps pushing higher and higher, and then maybe I'm self-masochistic or something. I just kind of get used to it. Now, I remember the first time I saw $50 get crossed, I was blown away. But fast forward 3 months later, I'm like, oh, it's only $50. Let me hurry up and trade. So it might be a little bit of that, but for the retail investors, yeah, I mean, I think it definitely matters. We saw that with the TikTok and the whole pancake swap and the Binance Smart Chain, and how it had just exploded because a lot of these people, these retail investors, I know they're not maybe moving the market in major ways, but for these small altcoins, they definitely do move the market. So if you're in high school, you're fresh out of high school, you're just working a little menial job, you can't afford those high gas fees. So yeah, I think it definitely does matter. For me, like today, once it starts, I'm comfortable 70 and below, and I almost hate even hearing myself say that because in November, I just want to slap myself silly for saying something like that.
Yeah.
Well, we all did.
Dude, those gas fees, man. I mean, yeah, you're right. You made a great point there, Deezy, about it kind of being the frog in the boiling pot. People are just like, okay, and it keeps turning up, and they're like, I'll keep paying it. I stopped using Ethereum when gas went above 20 Gwei. That's my sweet spot, 20 Gwei. If it can't get down below that, I mean, it's useless at this point. I mean, yeah, if you're some Chad that's aping into the latest shitcoin on Uniswap, and you don't care that you're paying $300 fees for your liquidity pool providing for that coin that's going to tank 85% in the next 2 weeks, cool, go for it. But what it comes down to is Ethereum is losing its market share because of these fees. Developers are going to other platforms. People who want NFTs are going to other platforms. The volume of NFTs on Ethereum has dipped so significantly in comparison to other platforms like Wax that have been crushing the game so hard. And these are some of the main use cases for Ethereum. So I think it's a huge problem. I think that all these developers that have done really great things here, it's something that you can't do much of. So it's a problem.
Yeah. No, I feel personally attacked. I am that guy that doesn't care about those $300 fees. So, and I know you love Wax. It's good for NFTs, and it's also great for the stash. So, it was a really good discussion. One thing, real quick, I wanted to ask Savvy one thing, because I know you're saying you're new to altcoins and we're just getting involved, and you had mentioned some first mover advantages originally. Do you think Ethereum has too big of a first mover advantage for Cardano or Binance Smart Chain to be relevant, or do you think there's some room for them to take some market share?
I think there's some room for them. I honestly do. I mean, they've developed a huge following. I haven't even started dipping into it yet, but just from what I hear in my Discord and stuff like that, a lot of them guys talk about it. It's possible. Again, I was not a fan of alts at all. I'm still not saying I'm a fan of alts, but there's a lot of money to be made.
I think you might be the closest we've had to a maxi on the show so far. So.
Yeah,
but
I'm not a maxi.
But he also likes Litecoin.
I do believe
so
there will be
column A,
projects that
column B.
work.
Yeah.
But I think I think there's a whole lot more projects that aren't going to work than there is that will. So it's finding them.
Exactly.
Just like a good company in the stock market, It's like playing with penny stocks.
Exactly.
We don't care about fundamentals. It's all about pumpamentals.
Pumpamentals.
You know?
All right.
Yeah,
Pumpamentals.
But
that's
all right.
what I said. I'm missing out on a lot of money not playing in the alts. So.
Well, I really appreciate everybody joining us today. We had a really good time. This was a great discussion. Unfortunately, we're out of time right now. We need to be wrapping this thing up. It looks like the crowd favorite, CryptoStache, in the house with the most score, is our winner today. So, Stash, you've got 30 seconds. Give them a parting thought.
So quickly, yes, just kind of touching on the Ethereum stuff, there is a lot of market share that's being pulled away from them. I'm a big NFT guy. I've been creating NFTs on Ethereum for a long time, and it was crippling for me as an artist to see these gas fees go up. And so, when you talk about the little guy out there, there's a lot of little guys, and NFTs have blown up so big. There's a lot of people that want to get in and do this, and so going and finding other blockchains that do it well, I think is an important thing. Go out there, explore, and don't get stuck in these old ways or antiquated coins out there. So, awesome. And happy Memorial Day, everybody!
That's right. Happy Memorial Day. We really appreciate all you guys hanging out with us. The 14,000 of you that are still here, if you're able to smash the like button before you go, we'd really appreciate it. Helps get this video out to more people, helps them learn about crypto assets, and the future of the economy that we're all know and love. As always, the links to the description for all these The links to all these channels are in the description below. I always say that backwards. But if you guys liked what you heard today, go show some BitSquad love, follow these channels, and we'll see you next week. Enjoy the weekend.